All right. Welcome to Sideboard MTG. My name's Eric, and today we've got another of Dev's decks. Well, I kind of ran this one last night, and I did it really hastily. And this is not exactly a deck you want to pick up and not know what's going on in it. So after a little more practice with the deck, I decided that it deserved another run through. So we're gonna try it again, and hopefully this time I will not make punts like allowing a Nezahal to just be targeted and removed when I've got like 8 cards in hand. I, I actually lost a little bit of sleep over that last night, guys. I'm being dead serious. I was like, oh my god, I know how Nezahal works. I know how that card works. Either way, I felt that I didn't give the deck any justice, and I definitely want to, as the deck, was clearly a pet project of our beloved Dev. By the way, Dev, if you are watching this, thank you very much for the shout out. Everyone that's actually joining from Dev's community that may have seen my video or the shout out that Dev gave there at the end of the video. If you're joining from that side, I'm really quiet. Really? How about that? Is that better? Or is it just the music's too loud? Let's try that a little bit. Anyway, we got more volume here. Maybe that'll help. Either way, if you do like this content, then give it a thumbs up so more people will get a chance to see it. And if you like the content in general, then you should subscribe to the channel. There's always going to be more coming. And if you like Dev's decks, so far I have played all of them. So everyone since I actually got started. So everything in Rivals has been played except for Bant Approach, and that's because I actually Bant Approach is one of my favorite versions of Approach, and I've ran that a few times. So absolutely smash that like button. We're going to jump straight into Dev's deck. I felt so bad about last night's video. I took it down. I was like, we ain't going down like that. No way. No way. I was like, I will just redo that content. It's kind of one of the problems with live, You don't really get a lot of second chances unless you just want to go back and completely redo it. Not a lot of room for editing and things. So, thank you for showing up and hanging out with me today. We're gonna have some fun with Dev's deck here. I did play around with it a little bit, and there's a couple cards that me and most of Dev's chat said, hey, just got to have this in here. And one of the cards that we didn't have in the deck last night, and may or may not have been in Dev's link, was Evolving Wilds. He didn't have Evolving Wilds in the deck, but he did mention in his comments that Evolving Wilds was supposed to be in the deck, and it makes a lot of sense. You want as many shuffles as we can get away with. And after we get the first couple lands down, it's not really a big deal if we don't get the if we're bringing in tap lands, because most of our things we'll be able to play, and a lot of times we're just going to want to sit back and not really play a whole lot unless our opponent is forcing us to, and just get down those slippery scoundrels when available. I was trying to play the deck a little too aggro last night, trying to get the game done or get the game finished, and I think that was definitely a wrong call. Most of the time, like you're just gonna have to wait a while on that City's Blessing. You just control the game, and then City's Blessing will come. Either way, let's get a couple shout outs in here to some of the people in chat. I know everyone's excited to be here. And sort it right. The sideboard here, there's definitely a couple changes that can be made. Remember, Dev was keeping this in a $20 budget, so there's some cards we can run that are slightly more expensive that may or may not help this strategy out. So if you guys are wanting to try, this mono blue ascend strategy, we are gonna try to upgrade it a little bit, throw a little bit more money into it, just a little bit. Not going to really take away from what Dev's got going on here. I'm loving the Hornswoggles. So either way, let me get some shout outs. We'll get into some gameplay. If you guys want to see the actual deck tech, it may not be up there right now, but if you guys are watching the replay, there is a link in the description box to Dev's channel, but I'll put a card up here in the top corner for Dev's channel. All right, guys, Let's see who we got in the channel here. Nevergun, what's up, Jar Jar? Ghostman, Philip Wumbacher, Boris Boons, Nerbs in the house. Please don't shout out. I have a headache. I'm sorry, Nerb. Turn the volume down. SD, thank you very much, sir. River Rap, Dominico, what's up? Um, oh, how do you say that? Tuto bien? Tuto bien? Is that all right? Tuto bien? Tuto bien? Tuto bien? Tuto bien? Man, I'm butchering that one. I know it. You'll have to let me know. You'll have to break down that first word there for me so I can pronounce it. You know, me and enunciating. All right, KPS, welcome, welcome. KPS, I think you need to turn your volume up. Everybody else said it was all right. Looks like it's just you, my friend. Knuckle Pancake Sandwich. If you guys don't know who, or Knuckle Pancake Sandwich, Knuckle Pancake Squad. If you guys don't know who they are, they're a group of friendly trolls that do not mind giving you honest opinions about decks. So check them out. They got a website. Just Google Knuckle Pancake Squad. You'll find them. They're pretty big on helping people politely give criticism and things like that. So they will critique your deck, but it's yeah, absolutely. He's also a streamer. I forgot Elliot is also a streamer, but great group of guys. I love to go see what ideas they're doing. They're not always in standard, modern. They're all over the place. They play in everything. Troll is here. Hey, not all trolls are bad. Not all trolls are bad. You remember the little fluffy ones with the hair and the little bead in their belly? Those were the evil ones. Those were the bad trolls. The ones under the bridge, no problem. No problem. Pay the toll, we'll move on. Alright. Anyway. Just working late today, Never? Okay. Who else is in chat? NanoClicks, welcome, welcome. Looks like you got in here a little bit early. You were up at the top, didn't see you there. Oh, you're streaking too? Nerb. You know what? I'm gonna show that. I don't think you're actually streaming, but whatever. Nerb. Guys, we've got a fun little deck here. Dev gave it a score of what, 54? It was in the low 50s. It might have been 53 or something. But he said it's not the most competitive deck, but it's a fun little deck. And we tried to do the mono-colored series where mono blue, mono white, and all of that. And I also felt that I just couldn't put a really, really powerful mono blue together. I like Waterknot too, and was looking at Waterknot over Illusionary Wrappings. I was looking at Waterknot over Illusionary Wrappings. That's exactly what I was looking for. Looking for upgrades that might be better, but making something a 0-2 is about as effective as keeping it tapped down, unless you're going to block it or something like that. I don't know. Tapping it down is really good against vehicles, whereas making something 0-2 is also good against vehicles. Tit for tat, I think. Right. Debs actually, he was talking in the video. He was talking a lot about. How he really didn't like the aggro decks, and how the aggro decks were just a little much for the deck, or could get under it. And honestly, in my testing, it was the decks that could control you. They could just wait longer than you and say, okay, well, now I'm going to play this finisher with counter backup, and then it was just it was over. But I'm going to tell you guys, I was looking through chat, and from my own play today, I had thrown this one Kefnet in the deck, and this is the upgraded version after last night and after me today and things. But I threw this Kefnet in the deck. Kefnet was so good on the play, just throw the extra Kefnets in, that I went and threw a couple more in the sideboard, and I will pick those up before we actually go. Before we actually get into Game 3 today. I'll do two games with Deb's version, and then I'm going to do the last game with a version that chat has helped me upgrade, or that we've talked about. If you guys see some really good, upgrades or things like that, we'll talk about them. And by the time we get to game 3, we'll know what we want, and we can upgrade that appropriately and run it back for game 3 and see how that feels. Either way, that'll be the format for today. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do like it, subscribe, all the other good things. Those of you again that are coming over from Deb's channel, thank you very much. Lost Nation JC said he saw Deb give a shout out, and we've clearly made the big time. Well, I don't know if a shout out is the big time, but I will say this: I have really enjoyed streaming and am going to continue streaming. It's a lot of fun. Is there main deck cards beyond? Yes, there is a Nizahal. I say Nizahal, Nezahal. I think I pronounce it different ways half the time. So, Zahal. I've heard people put an extra emphasis on the second syllable. But I was always told the first one walks and the second one talks. I mean, the first one talks and the second syllable walks, or vowel. Wow, I'm saying syllable, vowel. Yeah, me in English, right? Right? We're not gonna do it. We'll stick to math class, which I'm not really that great at, but I'm gonna call it Nezahal, and we're gonna go from there. Yeah, we'll just me in English. Ooh, not my first language. My first language was just pure redneck. All right. But we're going to be running Debs here. Another thing is I am going to be running it in tournament practice, as I'm probably going to do that for any deck that he gives below a 60 rating, just because I don't think it would be fair to run this this fun deck up against Grixis Energy, Mono Red, and just run it up against the heart of the meta every time. So we're going to try to avoid that. I'm just going to jump into some tournament practice here. And hopefully we'll actually, get some people that are trying some different ideas and actually get into a decent game. Otherwise, we may just, run up against a Tier 1 deck. And unfortunately, I just don't think this $20 budget deck is going to have the tools to really fight that. But it might. I'm going to keep. We've got plenty of lands, and that is very, very important in this deck, is to have plenty of lands. So we'll keep and go from here. We've got a little bit of answers for what's going on. You're a second main phase lander. Ooh. Oh, I do not doubt the power of the shout out. Dev has been he's been very nice, like even in the comments and everything. Dev has always been nice to this channel ever since I started running his deck. So, I'm definitely thankful. I'll say that. Is this against a snake deck? Yeah, it was pretty good. Sure. Take a Hornswoggle or a Meltdown. What's up, Chris? Jank, what's up? Evolving Wilds? No, they're not there to trigger Revolt. They're there to shuffle your time stream navigators that you put on the bottom back into the deck, so that as you're drawing through the deck, you have a chance to hit them again. If you guys were around for the live stream last night, I know I took the replay down, but if you guys were around for the live stream last night, this deck has a ton of draw power, especially after you get the deck fired up. I think I'm just going to go ahead and come in with a tap land this turn. We're about to clock the opponent. Maybe. I probably should try to play fast. Man, I'm good, Chris. How about yourself? Meltdown into Hornswoggle. Good. Yeah. Okay, well, just all the lands in the world. I'm not gonna play my scoundrel. I don't have to, so I'm not going to. It could be a bunch of decks. No clue, honestly. Right now, I'm not worried about the one per turn, so we'll wait and see if he plays something more powerful, and if he does, then we'll go from there. I think hopefully we'll get to see something here. Um, I don't know what this is at this point. That looks like a fine Aether Meltdown target, though. Isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, let's melt it down. I want more permanents, and this is a good way to spend our mana this turn. Okay. One moment, guys. The the fat cat is wanting out of the room. All right. Here we go. What are we doing? He's going to do nothing on his turn? Lap. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, bouncing this to get a Hornswoggle back. Hi, Lamp. There's Eric, too. Alright, alright. You guys in the Lamp. Right? It is. It is. Cats are like, hey, I want out. Open the door. You know. Oh, you're good, man. I'm actually not sorry you missed the stream yesterday. The it went horribly. We had an issue with getting some cards to do the stream I was planning to do. I was going to run this one today anyway, and it was going to give me a chance to actually get some play in with it, so I kind of knew a little bit more about how to play the deck. Couldn't get the cards I wanted, so just went and dropped like 3 tickets online, picked this deck up, tried to jump into this deck, and man, oh, it punished me so hard. Like, I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how the deck was supposed to play out, and it was bad. It was very bad. Um, Unfortunately, we are just hitting lands here, but that's not like overly horrible. We're not dying, so we just wait. Spell our favorable winds with a couple of Spirewinders. Maybe. Um, Favorable winds is a permanent. It is a blue permanent that you could throw down, so that's hard to interact with. I mean, personally, if I was going to try to build like a competitive mono blue, I would go probably a different route, like mono blue mid range and flyers and maybe favorable winds. However, I don't think he was trying to build a competitive mono blue deck. I think he was trying to build a fun Ascend deck. And as far as that goes, I mean um, the deck has definitely been, an interesting little ascend deck. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we go 8, 9, 10. Okay. Well, opponent, just go ahead and grab whatever non-creature spell you'd like to get there. And is Dynavolt Tower still a deck? Probably could be. I mean, there's quite a few decks that no one's playing with. Like Saffron Olive played with the new perspectives, which was actually what I was kind of thinking of being our subscriber Sunday build around for the month of March. Was have everyone come up with your version of a cycling deck or a new perspectives deck, because there's a couple different ways you can build it. You can go into just pure cycling into enough mana to cast approach. You can go into cycling with vile manifestations, and you can go that route. So there's a couple different ways you can go with cycling. So Turtle Dirtle is a Dynavolt Tower deck. Oh yeah, I like Boggles. Well, we counter whatever creature he wants to play. I mean, he's trying to get to Ascend, and this is going to be kind of bad for us when he does get to Ascend. I mean, this is not the type of removal we wanted to have for this, but we're going to have to take it. And we can't swoggle that. There'll be no swoggling. I assume he just pops this. Nope. He's going to go for the win. I mean, we can use this to tick him down 2 each turn. No, we don't have Fatal Push. We're mono blue. Yeah. So, like, we have no way to kill anything. We really need to, like, top deck a River's Rebuke. But we're going to go ahead and just try to draw 3 here. Okay. Well, this is a bad deck to be trying to use this on. Wish it gave us a buff, like a real buff to the power or something. Like if it was +2, like if it was just the other way around, like +2/+0 to a pirate, or -2 -0 to a non-pirate, man, this card would be so much better. So much better. But then it wouldn't be blue, right? So we played our land for the turn. Is there anything we want to put a wrappings on? Not really. I'd rather just hold up Hornswoggle. Well, then, I mean, honestly, like if you were going to upgrade this deck in such a way that you took it to like a whole nother color or something like that, there's probably better routes you could go. Like if you were going to splash red and you were going to run like a red blue deck, I would actually go back to like the beginning of Ixalan, or the end of Amonkhet, and try to find one of those red blue decks, that red blue control decks, and start there and upgrade from that. If you wanted to have something competitive. Again, even Deb said that this deck was, this is a kitchen table. Let's have some fun. This might happen. It may not happen. Who knows? But either way, we're gonna try to have some fun with it. We may not be able to beat this Varaska, of course. Needs to bring more times so we can. Oh, I should have countered that. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, we'll sea legs it. Thank you for subscribing. Woo. No, that ain't what I want. Missed it. Let's go find that name. Harry, or Henry. Henry, thank you for subscribing, Henry. I'll keep that up where I can see it. Alright, so how much damage do we take next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, Varaska. We're gonna hit you. We take 5 minimum plus whatever happens here, because this thing's gonna happen. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the city's blessing, reveal the top card of your library and put it in your hand. Your opponent loses life. So yeah, I mean, he could do a lot to us right here. So I think I'm going to try to stop a little bit more damage. So we'll probably play Illusionary Wrappings and the Cominima's Awakening this turn, and of course our island. You want a control deck with no Scarab God. Well, guess what? No control deck currently runs a Scarab God. Scarab God's just not a card. Some of you didn't get that. Some of you were like, what is this guy talking about? It's the Scarab God. The Scarab God. Yeah, this Twilight Prophet's about to just kill me. But yeah, I agree that a control deck without the Scarab God would be interesting at least. Well, we took 3 there. He got a Jade Light Ranger. So there, in this deck, like Dev talked about, you getting into this point where you could get like a Time Stream Navigator on the bottom of your library, and then you could just start drawing into more Time Stream Navigators and things like that. And man, I really hope we get I just want a River's Rebuke off the top. That would be terrific. It could be top 2 cards. But anyway, he talked about you being able to get into this this board state where you've drawn all the cards in your library, and every turn you're just putting a Time Stream Navigator back on the bottom of your library. Honestly, you need to be doing multiple Time Stream Navigators per turn based on how many Cominima's Awakenings you have, because this is not a May ability. You will be drawing an additional card each turn, so if you have the Cominima's Awakening out, you're not going to be able to actually go into that. And if you're into a position where you're that late into the game, I assume that you have already drawn Cominima's Awakening. So I don't know how you would turn this off other than drawing enough cards that you start bouncing your own permanents. Oh, I can't counter that. I don't have the mana to counter. Anyway, River's Rebuke. Here we go. One time. That ain't it. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Okay, well, can't beat that Carnage Tyrant without more draw, and we don't actually have any more draw in the hand, so we would have needed to get there, but take a look at the Blue-White Challenger deck for ideas. Sideboard MTG will be running that deck too. I will. You are 100% right. We're going to. He didn't want to play test against us anymore. We're going to be running all of the Challenger decks this week, or broken up over this weekend, next week. I'm going to fit them in between, you know, Dev's decks and some other content that I try to do on a weekly basis. I mean, so I'm definitely going to be squeezing those in. But we are going to run each of the Challenger decks in a league Because they're not upgraded, I'm debating on running them in just a friendly league, but I also want to see how they do in against the meta just as hardcore as possible. So we're going to be running them in a competitive league, and we just want to know, like, out of the box, how competitive is this deck? And, you know, we're going to do that. And so basically we're just going to pull up the deck list. These are all known decks, so yeah, of course, I'm not going to be... yeah, this deck is exactly like that. It gets ugly before all of a sudden it gets great. But there are points where it gets great. I'm going to keep. Not because I have River's Rebuke, but I'm going to keep. Well, that's another land, so... what are we playing on 2? Nothing? Let's make the opponent think we're punting. We have nothing we're playing on 2. Our turn 2 mana is coming in tapped anyway, so we're going to make the opponent think that we're going to punt. We're just not cracking this. Right. We're going to go this land and... Now the opponent's like, what is he doing? What is he doing? So Renegade map is a 1-for-1 on your ascend count. If you don't have a land to play that turn, you can just crack it, and you're still, you know, 1-to-1. I think I want to swoggle this deck. Like, is this the kind of deck we want to swoggle, or do we want to trade Slippery Scoundrel for this thing? I mean, if he paralysis, he has to cast 2 spells, but I mean, if one of them is just going to kill our... I'm just going to swoggle him. He may not have a lot of creatures, so if we can stop creatures, that'd be great. Ambrose, welcome, sir. Have I made any changes? Actually, no. You're watching a mulligan edition of last night's horribleness. I'm actually just going to try to replay the deck the first 2 games, and then we'll upgrade, and we'll go from there. Don't lightning strike me. Don't lightning strike me. Alright, cool. Wow, alright. Nothing from the opponent. We did hit a land. I think I'm just going to sit back and swoggle. Just some swoggling. Just swoggling. Always swoggle. What's up, Crew Fix? Welcome. Ah, I should have turned. I was reading chat. That's just like the coolest card name to say. I mean, this is more damage than the Kitesail Freebooter. Alright, just saying. He's shocking me. That's 5. Do we need to make him turn his aggression elsewhere? I think we do. I think we need to give him something to shoot at before he just starts burning us. Hornswoggling, a swaggering Corsair. Makes you feel like a hipster when you hornswoggle a swaggering Corsair. Right. At least we made him turn that 2 damage towards something else. Like, honestly, this just became counter next burn spell. So, yeah, that's the best we could do with that is just try to avoid that damage. I think we're gonna have to do it again. So, yep. risque. There's a brawl. That's not what we wanted to see. Got me when I couldn't swoggle. Now it's going to be really profitable for him to counter stuff. Wow, return. He will not get to scry. Just going to go ahead and crack now. So you can still have lightning strike up on one. Man, this brawl. Come on, brawl. I love this song. It just makes you feel good, right? Like, this song is just like, let's roll, you know? Greetings from Holland. What? Cool to actually watch the live stream live. You know, that was one of the initial reasons I wanted to start doing like the 2 o'clock stream. I think it's better for my viewers in like Europe and places like that. I think we're catching like the end of your day, and it's like midday for me. So, well. I doubt he's going to swoggle me. I mean, I doubt he's going to be trying to... He's just going to be burning. I'm going to play a time stream navigator. Well, this puts us at an 8 count on City's Blessing. So if we hit land off the top, we can go time stream navigator. And tap time stream navigator, take an extra turn. So like we'll have the City's Blessing. So it was one of the mistakes I was making last night by playing time stream way too early. And yeah, now I try to play him the turn before I plan to hit my blessing. And against certain decks, it's a little bit tricky to get your blessing in this deck because I mean, we're going to take the damage regardless, but if he doesn't have a burn spell, we do get to stop that, which, that's a plus. Come on, land. We probably will not be able to. Come on, land. The pseudo land will work. That will not. I mean, we live an extra turn, but we don't have the City's Blessing now. So, no, we don't live an extra turn because we don't have the City's Blessing. We needed any untapped land to do it because we needed to be able to play. Yeah, so a pseudo land wouldn't have worked there. The Renegade map wouldn't have worked because it would have still only been one permanent. We needed a land. Play this, and we don't have the mana here. So even if we Hornswoggle, we're dead in the air. Yep, that just ain't gonna work. Just ain't gonna work. So we needed the untapped land so we could River's Rebuke. Then the next turn we would be able to play whatever. Yeah, that's sad face. Just sad face. We're dead in the air here. No point in wasting more time. Okay, so do we want like sea legs? Do we want? I mean, sea legs probably be pretty good. What was that creature? Was it a pirate? It wasn't a pirate, was it? It was like a Naga spell slinger or something, wasn't it? So let's say we want Jace's Defeat. I think they are a spells deck. Um, if this changes the base power and toughness, then it should change base power and toughness from star star to 0-2. I'm not for sure how the rulings work on that, but if it does change base power and toughness and it'll no longer be star star, the Enigma Drake may not be able to grow. But base power and toughness, um, if it just starts it at 0-2, I'm not 100% sure on how that works. But I know that Enigma Drake's a star star, and if you like bring it back with the Scarab God, so you make it a 4/4, it'll no longer be X or star star, so it no longer gets the additional buffs. So I don't know exactly how that works, but I'm actually interested in trying it out. So we're going to try that here in this deck. Andrew says he'll give $5 to the stream, but he wants everybody else to hit that smash button. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it, good man. As always, Andrew here is also our sponsor for the Challenger League. So, if any of you are in the chat that have the golden nuts and stuff like that, let's make sure we give Andrew a little bit of hype there. He, sponsored our entire Challenger League, so we're going to be running those because of Andrew. So, thank you very much. I think he just likes to see that cup. Like, it should be coming any moment, dude. It should be there. I don't know what. There it is. All right, so let's cut 6 cards here now that we've played around for a little bit. Depths of Desire, put target creature back into his hand. It's probably going to be pretty good. I don't think there's a lot of other permanents I might be wanting to bounce in red. So I'm actually going to put that back. And then I think I can do without Sea Legs on this one. I would rather have the meltdowns and just the counter spells. So we're going to go from there. Devs should put Aether Meltdown in this deck. Well, according to the rules, you're only allowed to run 4, and he's already got those in the deck, so. I'm giving you a hard time, Ambrose. Just giving you a hard time, man. You think he likes the green? Oh, okay, maybe. Maybe he does. He just likes to see his name up there. That's kind of the point. If you want to see your message, you want to get it read out, then that's YouTube. That's what YouTube does. All right, what are we doing here? We've got Depths of Desire. We got some Illusionary Wrappings. So I might get to try that on. What are we doing on 2? Map again? Yeah, map on 2. More Illusionary Wrappings. Needs more. Needs more Illusionary. You like the Jund deck? Is this our 3rd game with this? Yeah, but that one dude dropped out early, so like we didn't. That one can't really count. So we'll run this one, then we'll go look at the upgraded version, and then we'll go back into it. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and play this. Again, this deck wants as many lands as possible. Most of the time, that's how we're going to hit our. See, much love to you, Andrew. Andrew just said he just likes to support good content. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. The fact that you guys actually like this content, that's all I ever wanted right there. So, I'm gonna leave this up while I still have lands. So we'll just play. I mean, we can just depths this thing. If we do it right now, it's not bad. I mean, he kind of needs to just replay it next turn. Yeah. Look, that seems pretty decent. Chandra is good everywhere. 2 Chandra, 58 other cards. Good deck. You're pretty close there, Dom. 2 Chandras, 58 other cards. Let's go. Let's play Magic. It's sad, but that's kind of the thing. Can you cast this spell? Then you should be running it, right? Now this is not going to take prowess away from this deck, so that is not going to be a thing. So I mean, he is still going to be able to afflict and gain prowess triggers, but he will have to cast a spell to be able to do. Is Chandra good in a control deck? Yeah, because after you play her, then you tick her up for mana and toss one of your cycling lands to draw a card, right? And then if you want to cast a 2-mana burn spell, you tick her up and you harness lightning something or you magma spray something. Yeah, Chandra is really good. Or you use her top card on the next turn after you played her, right? So that was just the turn she came in, how many things you can do on 4, right? Chandra's good. Chandra's good. But, then the turn after you have all of your mana up, you can just flip up cards, deal damage, not have to tap. Like, you don't have to invest into the board to be gaining access to see more cards and to deal damage. So I personally think she's better in a mid-range deck than I do Que pasa, sideboard? What's up, Street Ninja? How you doing? I personally think she's better in a mid-range deck than a control deck because, as you're flipping up, you flip up like Glorybringers and the Scarab Gods and things like that, that always feels really good. So this wrapping's buying us some time here. I assume that he's just got a handful of red spells, and we'll see what he wants to do here. If we don't draw a land, we'll just cash this in next turn. We did not draw a land, so let's go ahead and cash this in. So this will put us no better than we were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have to play pretty much. Yeah, we're just not there yet. Just not there yet. We're way too far away to be trying to drop some Time Stream Navigators. Sweet. He's trading cards in. He's no longer trying to cast counter spells. He's trying to find something. It's fine with me. Man, that would have been so bad playing one of our 3-mana spells and then him trying to counter it and we had to sack our clue. Or not our clue, but our treasure. Woo. Alright. When he bounce off the top. Bounce off the top. Ooh. I'm sorry, guys. I took out the expels. That's not good. That is not good. Okay. I mean, now he can just start burning this, but we do need to add more to the field here. Can you use unsummon on a planeswalker? No, you cannot. No. Unsummon is says creature, so you cannot bounce it. All right, so the proper thing to do is go, yep, flow to blue. So I can't block this. I need the permanent. I mean, we're not dead yet. We are not dead yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Come on, I guess land? What do you got, opponent? Wanna try to kill this now? Hopefully this Time Stream Navigator lives a turn. There we go. Now we're biting into counters. All right. So next turn we make that construct, or his biggest construct at that point, into a 0/2. We are going to have to worry about some damage here though. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a start. I mean, if he's got counter though, woof, wow. That's not bad. I mean, the guy's just full of counter anyway. Really? Another commit? Now he starts casting memory. And then we're in some major trouble. Yeah, that's game. We can't get past memory. Okay. Well, it happens. So I do need to go pick up a couple cards here. I want these extra Kefnets in the deck. As far as the main deck goes, we didn't do a lot to change the main deck. What do you guys think? The Wrappings enchant is a permanent. It is a permanent. It was a permanent, and we could have ascended. But what would we have done once we ascended? He kept countering the whole reason to ascend, the extra turn. Yeah, we would have been able to have unblockable hexproof guys that do 6 a turn, but the math lines up that we just lose that fight. So yeah, that's a thing. All right, so that's something that I looked into that I actually thought might be really good. Would be vehicles. And you're right. I 100% that think that we could get away with adding some Aether Sphere Harvesters to the deck. And I think that we would honestly want to get rid of the sea legs for that and run those main. So let's try that, because that's a permanent that will help us. And we could play our Time Stream Navigator early and tap it and get in with the Aether Sphere Harvester if we wanted to take that route. If we thought it was safe or something like that, we'd be trying to do that. The Illusionary Wrappings, I definitely I agree that's not a card we want right there. I think it's just one of those cards where he was trying to keep things in a budget. And remember, when you're trying to stay in a budget, you can't always play like the greatest cards. Honestly, Hornswoggle, if we're going to be playing a 3-mana counter, it should probably be something like Disallow or something like that. But I do like the fact that this is going to give us the extra permanent, so I'll hang on to this. And I'll hang on to the Depths of Desire, even though I would rather run something else. Anything else that would, bounce target permanent, not just creature. You could get away with Unsummon in this slot because you could play it much cheaper. You could get away with the Perilous Voyage. So there's a couple other cards you could run, and I think that if you wanted to increase the competitiveness of this deck, you're going to want to do that. I'm going to try to stick to the Ascend idea here. I want to ascend. I want the permanents on the battlefield. So let's pull up these Aether Sphere Harvesters real quick. So when we look at the vehicles that are available, we need to take off enchantment. So we get Heart of Kirin, we've got Aether Sphere Harvesters, which again I think should be in the deck. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of those in the main board. Another thing that could be an idea, I mean, just because it's a permanent to put on the battlefield, it could be something like a Cultivator's Caravan. However, I just don't think you'll ever crew the Cultivator's Caravan unless you're doing some kind of jank like crew the Aether Sphere Harvester to crew the Cultivator's Caravan. So I don't actually think we need to go that route. Now, it could be possible, like you might want to run, some Sky Sovereigns, because Sky Sovereign itself would actually do some damage, but again, I don't believe you're going to crew it. So, that's probably not the route you want to take. I do think that we need some real, something else in the deck to help do a little bit more damage. Personally, I think it's just Kefnet. I want to run 2 Kefnets in the main board, and I actually want to run 2 more in the sideboard. I want on the play, when we have the option on the play, I want to be holding Kefnet. I want a Kefnet, and if they deal with it, I want to play another Kefnet. I think this deck runs really good with Kefnet. Consulate Skygate, if we're staying budget, 0-4 with for 2 with reach is huge early. There's a Consulate Dreadnought. What do we have here? Let me get into the ones I don't have. We can always just go pick them up. Oh, I shouldn't put an S on it, right? There we go. Consulate Dreadnought. Where's this Consulate Skygate? Is it not a vehicle? Oh, it's just a regular 0-4 reach. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I personally just want another Kefnet. I actually think this deck's a really good Kefnet deck. So I'm just going to throw a singleton copy of Kefnet in the deck. And then we're going to jump over here and go buy a couple Kefnets if possible. I think Kefnet's only like, he's like a ticket or so. Kefnet the Mindful. The price on Kefnet the Mindful for 3 of them is going to be a total of $1, $1.2. Well, so yeah, that set us back a long way there, fellas. This may be crazy, but Aether Swooper, maybe. It'd give you a chance to get a little bit more energy for your Shielded Aether Thief. Personally, I even looked into the idea of playing Shielded Aether Thief and the fabrication module, just because you just keep blocking and putting a counter on him, putting a counter on him, putting a counter on him. They're both permanent. You just kind of sit back and relax on it. But yeah, I looked into that idea as well. There was a blue-black deck that a blue-black fabrication module I was tinkering around with. That was running Glint Sleeve and Shielded Aether Thief. So you would block them, get a counter on your Shielded Aether Thief, and then you would attack with Glint Sleeve, get another counter on whatever. Or you could block and put a counter on the Glint Sleeve Siphoner. You know, like it was interesting, and it was janky, and definitely won some games. It's actually a really powerful interaction. They have to answer it. So I was running it as kind of a tempo deck, but it was a lot of fun. Either way, I think this is how I would run it back if I was trying to just say, you know, I just wanted that little extra edge. Don't want to take much away from the deck. I think it needed a little bit more protection. Some of the cards were just a little... I just didn't like the Illusionary Wrappings. I really wish I would have got a chance to see Illusionary Wrappings on the... what's it called? On that Drake, so that we could have seen how that interaction works. I'm not 100% on that interaction, so I would like to have seen how that works. Okay, well, we've got a bunch of land, and we've got a Hornswoggle. This is technically a bad bad hand, I think. But in a control deck, I'm usually willing to keep 2 lands, or 5 land hands. So I'm going to try it. We don't have to do any jank and not crack this turn. Okay, we got nothing else going on this turn. What do we think we can do here? Do we think that we can just get this down early and start swinging? I don't know. I don't know what J Roach 118 is playing. Is there a better vehicle deck than Mardu vehicles? So there's 3 good vehicle decks right now. One is Mardu vehicles, and it is probably the best. But the other 2 are also getting top 8s and stuff, so you can't just like write them off. And those are the red black aggro, or sorry, the black red aggro is a vehicle deck. The red black aggro is a red deck splashed black. But you got the black red aggro, and then you got the mono black aggro, and both of those are very competitive decks. They're very aggro decks. I think we're just gonna hornswoggle whatever he plays next turn. I keep saying it like it's fun, but I don't like 3 mana for that ability. Like it should have been a 2 mana, so I could have countered this Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Now this Glint Sleeve is going to get under me, and well, we'll see how that goes. Well, we definitely swoggle that because we don't want a Scarab God, the Scarab God next turn. Is Esper Control any good? So depends. So right now we're technically in an unsolved meta. So unsolved mysteries, but no, we're in an unsolved meta, and that in an unsolved meta, a lot of decks can be good. I've seen people play, Esper Reanimator. I've seen people play, Esper Godpharaoh's Gift. If blue black, I've seen people play Esper Approach, which is a control deck, and I actually think Esper is probably better suited than it has been, back recently because of cards like Profane Procession. They give Esper the ability to basically, I land this enchantment and now I win blue black control. What are you going to do? And there's honestly not a lot blue black control can do about it, because that one enchantment will deal with 3 out of their 5 creatures. So yeah. The jank is real now, guys. Would Jund Vehicles deck be a deck? Yeah, people play Jund Vehicles all the time. I mean, the red green monsters list that started showing up at the beginning of the format, the one that splashed black. It splashed black for Scrap Heap Scrounger and Heart of Kirin. So that was a red green deck that had splashed black, and it had a couple, like I think it had like Duress or something like that in the sideboard. So yeah, we can't do nothing about this. This is just happening. Well, I think we just pass. Copter did nothing wrong. Hashtag Copter did nothing wrong. Yeah. Looter Scooter was good. The Looter Scooter was good. Well, now we're putting up the chance to like block his Glint Sleeve Siphoner, even though it's not something I want to do. I want to counter this the Scarab God that he's about to play is what I want to do. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. We're going to stay at 8 because we're going to spend 1 to counter the Scarab God in second main phase. We put this in his graveyard, he'll definitely want to go get it. Can't let him draw more cards. It's gonna be a moment before we get there. Gonna be a moment. Alright, so now he goes to play the Scarab God. Alright, Fatal Push. Never mind, no the Scarab God. So what are you doing, opponent? Most of these Sultai lists are supposed to be running for the Scarab Gods, so maybe you just can't afford for the Scarab Gods, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm not swoggling over it. We're dead to a more powerful creature, so I just can't. Okay, well, we'll pass. Yes, he can draw cards off of it. Yes, he can do a lot of things, and is not the answer I want for that card, but in blue, they're just not kill spells. So, that's horrible. Gotta go! Ta-ta, everyone. Good luck. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. KPS. This is gonna be the last game for us here really soon anyway. Magic Hefe just got off of work. Is this Deb's deck? Yeah, it is Deb's deck. We're running the upgraded version of it right now, and I'm scared to death of the Scarab God coming down. So, like, I can't tap out. Like, last turn he prioritized killing stuff before I got Hex. Well, that's worth it. Glint Sleeve probably should have been worth it, but because Hornswoggle actually cost me another permanent to counter the Glint Sleeve, I let it go. Like, it was wasting, it was taking too much away from the deck. And the deck, I'm really to the point where I'm kind of needing it to fire off here. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I gotta do it. It's not what I want. You know what? I don't have to do it. I do not have to do it. Oh, I did have a sin. Oh, you're right. I pulled a Todd Stevens. Permanent on the other side of the battlefield. Didn't count it. You are 100% right. I would have... Punt. Punt. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. Hefe. Crispy. Take care, man. Wow. Alright. That's gonna be a thing. Let's draw some cards. Okay, well, we're gonna jump into our card draw phase here and try to live a turn. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this now. We do have a bounce available to us, so depending on what happens, we can bounce something. Well, you know what, Magic? I'm actually just happy, like, in that aspect, I'm actually just happy that you see that, you know, once you get to playing and stuff, it's like, whoa, you know, it's very hard to, you know, to pay attention to chat and to read other things, take your mind off of a game that requires a lot of mental focus, and then come back to it, you know, after, you know, things have happened, reevaluate the situation. It's challenging. It is definitely challenging. Alright, so we let that happen. We bounce it before he gets into combat, so he can't, like, do things. I'm gonna put it on top of his library, So he can't just replay it this turn. That card is so good when that effect is on. Oh. Yes, sir. Magic Hefe here is a member of the community who has recently started his own channel, and he's trying to get into some Magic. I don't know what his niche is going to be yet. I think he's still working on that. I would recommend Pauper, as Pauper is becoming very, very engaging, and I don't think there's anyone out there that just streams a bunch of Pauper. Just saying. If I was new, getting into Magic and streaming right now, I would probably make sure that I rented and put content of all the new Pauper decks. I think it would be a good idea. I'm currently, the standard guy, so I'm gonna stick with standard. But well, this is not where we want to be, is it? So let's cycle this. Cancel. So we cycle. We're taking 6 next turn. We're just dead. I mean, I could have played Kefnet, bounced a land, but... So we're not 100% dead. Yeah, we are. We're just dead. Because even playing this on, I don't know, this guy, he blocks it. If I put it here, he's got enough to kill me anyway. So yeah, it's over. Like, no matter where I put this, he still had lethal. So, yep. Let's jump into the sideboard. I was being funny targeting that dude. Alright, what do we got? What do we want to bring in versus this deck? Spell Swindle seems decent. Shielded Aether Thief, Sailor Amines, our Kefnets because we're on the play. Alright, so let's get rid of Depths of Desire. Hornswoggle seems fine. Actually, I'm on the Kefnet plan. I don't want the Sailor Amines. Aether Meltdown looks like it's probably going to be fairly decent. I'm going to take out 2 of the Time Stream Navigators here because we're on the play. We're going to go for the Kefnet kill. I hope it works. There's no Kefnet and no good land, but we have decent cards. Play map on 2. Yeah, this is fine. Not what we were looking for on our on the play, but it's a decent hand. And if you want Kefnet to work well, you do need to keep your 7. So hopefully we will draw into one of our 4 Kefnets. We are going to play as if we're trying to play into a Kefnet game, which means we're going to be very particular on how we play out our permanents. This one right here hurts a little bit, but you can add a card back to your hand later. This card is really, really good with Kefnet as, yes, this is the upgraded version. If there was such a thing. Okay. We can do that. So this will work fairly well if he tries to play like Rishkar or something. Like upon playing it or upon trying to trigger it, we'll just bounce. Okay, so he's just got some control. I think I'll just take the 2 here. So we'll go ahead and bounce the snake here, and no matter what happens to the Jade Light Ranger, we can always just Aether Meltdown it. How many Planeswalkers should go in a vehicle deck? Well, unfortunately, Chris, there's not some like rules where you do like, I'm running a vehicle deck, I need to be running this, this, and this. And it depends on what vehicles you're actually running. If you are running a... Wow, he went land. Okay, so I'm actually going to draw here. I'm going to let him have his turn. And then I'm going to sack this, go get a land, play a land, and then we'll pass. We're a long way. But yeah, it depends on how many Heart of Kirin and stuff like that you're running. Heart of Kirin works better with Planeswalkers than other vehicles. So, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. Yeah, go whatever you want, dude. Just whatever you want. But yeah, like, I think in Mardu, most of the time you see like 2 Chandras floating around. Sometimes you even see a Gideon in Mardu. But most of the time, you just see a couple Chandras floating around. I have seen people squeeze an Angrath or a Liliana into their sideboard of Mardu vehicles. Liliana is really good because you bring back Pia Nalar or a Modern Veterus or something. You're getting that enter the battlefield trigger and you're getting a little bit of extra value out of that. That's pretty decent. Also, just making zombies, making more blockers and things, that can be decent as well. Angrath is really good in the control matchups, so it just really depends on the construction and how you build your deck on whether or not you actually even want Planeswalkers in the deck. So I would just consider some of those things. So what do you take? The Aether Sphere Harvester? Sure. I want my land. Come on, land. Got it. Four Heart of Kirin and 2 Fleetwheel Cruisers. Well, Fleetwheel Cruiser is really good, but if you have the money, I think Hazard is a better one for the spot. Fleetwheel Cruiser is my version of a budget Hazard, and honestly, like one of the meanest red decks I've played in a long time was someone had thrown me this Lathnu Hellion deck here a while back, and it was turn 3 Lathnu Hellion, turn 4 you would play Fleetwheel Cruiser. Man, it was a brutal. Like, you were just doing so much damage so quick. I don't know. That was just something that Chris Peltier said. I don't know. I personally think that Harvester is your better 2-up spot. Right now, in most vehicle decks, the vehicle decks are running in packages, and those packages mostly include 4 Scrap Heap Scroungers if you have the black. They include yeah, that's going to happen. 4 Scrap Heap Scroungers if see, yeah, the boat is decent. You see the boat as a 1-of sometimes. Glorybringer's better than the boat in some matchups, but most of the decks run. I'm going to melt down that. But yeah, I was trying to say it. Most of the decks run 4 Heart of Kirin and 2 Aether Sphere Harvesters. The Aether Sphere Harvester is just like, that's your main board package, and of course if they have black, then they're running So we'll get Kefnet down. And I guess at this point, if we can like avoid paying anything, we're going to. Honestly, maybe I shouldn't have Kefnet right there. I should have just spell swindled. So if he goes to play like a big spell right now, and I should have spell swindled for sure. Sure, there's a climb. I guess he's putting it here. Yeah. I mean, he can remove them. So this is going to be really nice for us. He's targeting that. So, I mean, yeah, we lose our permanent here because he can just sack it, deal 4 to us. But it's going to get XX, where X is its power. So, yeah, he just forced us to shoot it. Like, he's just going to shoot us. So, that was a pretty decent answer for us right there. That I liked having the Aether Meltdown there. That seemed pretty good. I mean, it wasted the other 4 parts of his mana here. We are going to take a little bit more damage. We really need to be able to do something super good. That ain't going to be it. Ain't going to be it. Well, it was nice. It was nice trying. Yeah. He's got us here. We can't stop this damage. Either way, yeah, lost to the climb deck. Wow, it happens. It happens. Well, you know, again, Dev said, you know, that this deck scored in the 50s. It was not the most competitive deck. We didn't really see Nezahal much, so we didn't get to play with that much. And after last night's punt, I wouldn't blame this dinosaur from staying away from me anyway. It'll be a while before I gain this card's trust again and get it to top deck for me when I need it. You know, you gotta earn those cards' trust. You gotta play them right when they come out. Now, you know, and if you do it wrong, then they just won't come out and play with you anymore. You know, that's how it works. That's how it works. Guys, thanks for coming out today. We're gonna be back later tonight. I think we're gonna be doing. Oh God, this is the 28th. This is my Patreon games makeup. We're actually running a couple of our patrons decks later tonight. We've got a couple people that didn't make it in on the 10th or the 24th, so I'm going to run those decks tonight. We're going to be running Ryan the Fire Burns. We're going to be running his updated version of the zombies, and then we're going to be running a deck by, I believe it's by Phil Wambacher. I think he was the one who come in late with his, and then yeah, I think that's it. Other than that, yeah. Let's see, where was that? Yep. We're going to be playing Phil's deck. So that's a Watley deck, so you guys will have some fun with that. It's got some Galtas in it. It's a green-white Wayward Swordtooth. Just some really cool cards in there. I think you guys are going to like it. And we'll work on that. It is the Patreon game, so we will be you know, breaking these decks down, talking about them. If we can possibly upgrade them, we can. We're bringing Ryan's deck back because he's done a lot more work on the deck, and I've also done a little bit myself on the land base. So we'll look at those tonight. And then, if Dev doesn't come out with another one of his Week of Weird decks, we're going to start on the Challenger deck series. So while I'm trying to get this in, I'm also going to be trying to squeeze in the Challenger deck series. So, you know, guys, look out for that. We will be running those at some point. I may just say, hey, you know, look, I've got some time. We're gonna go offline for a little bit, change over to the next deck, and then come back up. It's not as easy as it is on Twitch when you just don't care about how the thumbnails come up and you got to repost your videos anyway. So YouTube just automatically reposts them, so it's just better to take the whole stream down, fix everything, get it into a new stream, and then bring it back up. So that'll be the format for today, if I can try to squeeze in all three streams. But as of right now, we're just worried about the Patreon stream later. and it is public. All of you guys will be able to show up to that. It'll just be another episode of the Patreon games. It's the makeup one, which I'm going to try to do the last day of every month. For those patrons that didn't get theirs in February, if you were a patron on February 1st and you were charged, then you have a deck, and you have about 1 hour left to get me your deck. That we've got one spot open. Fuzzy did post one, but Fuzzy's deck, he will get his first in March, so that'll let you guys know. If you are becoming a patron and you want your decks played in the Patreon games, then you have to wait till the first month that you're actually active before you got a slot in the Patreon games. Again, we only have so many slots, and that is reflected on Patreon. So if you guys want to join in on that, we have a few left if you want to get in. But next month we're going to be running 4 episodes of the Patreon games. We're filling up, guys. We're gonna have one every week. It is going to be our new Saturday show, so that's going to be really cool. I'm Eric from Sideboard MTG. This was Dev's deck. Thank you, Devs, for posting such great content that you have created a way for people like myself to to just go grab some good off the wall friendly jank, if you will, or sometimes some off the wall competitive jank. And sometimes just pure competitive gloriness. I guess gloriness would be a thing. I'm just thinking of your red-black deck that you built. It was just that Rakdos control, man. That was a beauty. Either way, I'm Eric. This is Sideboard MTG. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun. Stick around for the credits, and we'll see you next time.
On the left wing, he can get across it. Heskey go in the byline. Puts in a good ball. Spitzer! Goal! Goal! Vladimir Spitzer! In victory time!